Hello there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the almost the last session, the session before the last session. Hello. All right, a few more minutes. 2 minutes, and then we start. Hello. Okay, we can start. So, welcome to the fourth day, the fourth session of the fourth week. And we will be talking about adjacent subjects from yesterday, just kind of around the same area. So, yeah, working as a freelancer, as an indie, as a regular employee, how to have an interview, or at least we'll try to um, look into that as well. Yeah, how to find opportunities, and basically that's it. I will just talk about everything that I know, and I'm pretty sure this will be valuable for anyone who has less than, let's say, 5 years of experience, but maybe even if you have more than that. Uh, you never know everything. Good. Hello there. Let's get started. Okay, first, working as a freelancer. Um, Hello there. You're right on time.
Yeah,
So this is the
hi.
first slide. Hello. Um, yeah, working as a freelancer. So there are three major ways in which you can uh work professionally, if you want to call it that way. I don't really like to use rigid terms of or just I don't want to rely on words that much because words might change meaning from time to time. But you have this concept of a freelancer where you basically are finding your own projects and you're negotiating by yourself and you're working by yourself, and it's usually more stressful, and it's pretty hard to work as a freelancer at the beginning of your career, and I don't recommend it unless you are kind of somehow luckily at the right place at the right time, and you already have, let's say, an opportunity to work on something, and it's not that much like you don't have to think about taxes and all of that. I mean, if you're making your first dollars in your life, just man, it's just and it's even like a lot of countries have this rule that if an income is very occasional, I mean, it applies mostly on, but I'm not a financial advisor, so everything that I say just it's just what I read about, and that's what I apply. Just yeah. But like if you're selling your car or something, at least where I am from, like you don't pay like an explicit tax or something like that. Like it's not like an income which has to be taxed as an income. But if you are selling like one car per month or two or three cars per month, that's it has a recurrent character, right? And it has a recurrent aspect to it. So that's kind of a business activity. So you will just pay income tax or whatever tax you have in your country. And as a freelancer as well, like it's the same. Just if you're just getting started, you just make a Wise account, PayPal account, I don't know, whatever account, even any banking account you want. You know, what do you have there? Like there are a lot of depending on where you are, where you live, you have different financial services providers. Let's call them that. So if you're like your first $100 or I don't know $1,000 or whatever for a task or for something, just uh, try to not think too much about taxes and all that. When you see that you're getting recurring revenue, then it starts to you need a structure and you need to talk to an accountant, depending on how much money you're making. If it's a lot, like you need like even a financial advisor, a tax advisor, and so on. But by then you already know what to do. But the general idea is just if you're at the beginning of your career, just your first few $1,000, just don't even think about taxes and or all of that. Like that's my uh I don't know. Don't want to say advice. I don't know, but that's what I would do, right? If I were to start again, and I didn't do it this way. I did it the wrong way. Like I focused a lot on establishing like a legal entity so I can work under it, but it's very inefficient and it's wrong. It's very time consuming. So first try to have like you only need like to research, to have a portfolio to show your clients, potential clients, and like I said yesterday, it's very I highly recommend you to just when you propose your um when you send them your proposal or work proposal, how they are what they are calling it on Upwork or other like letter of cover letter or whatever, right? Uh, if you can send them already a piece of the work that you've made in even an hour, if you're at the beginning, which will save you time because you'll be applying to fewer jobs, so it makes sense to spend some time. You will impress them and they might hire you. This is a very important maybe secret. If yeah, if you don't know about it already, if you're at the beginning. Um yeah, that's it basically. That's what you need to know. You don't need any like legal entity or anything at first. Um and yeah, once you get a regular stream of income, just it's kind of it comes automatically. Like, yeah, I'll create a legal entity and all of that. Like, every country has a different way of doing it. But I think there are two big categories. Like, there's a smaller type, less complex, smaller form of legal entity. Like, I think it's called sole proprietorship in US or something like that. And it's like more concentrated on a single guy mostly. And there's that LLC where it's everything in the world and every country has its limited liability company, which is the same because every country copies every other country. So it's kind of the same structure and it has multiple roles. The word limited means that you have a smaller, you have less responsibility as the person. And like, if somebody sues you, they are suing that entity, legal entity, and they are not suing you or coming after your assets. But yeah, that's you can read about that in some other place. Um, yeah, that's it. That's an intro for freelancers. Um, yeah, there's this thing at the beginning. You will need reviews. It's really hard to get work without reviews, although I mean, depending on your tolerance for free or almost free work, you might find it easily. um yeah, it's there are a lot of ways in which you can get reviews. You have to work for almost free, um or you might bring your own clients. If we are talking about a platform, we're talking about a platform because we're talking about reviews. Um, you might bring a client from the real world there, so work from them for them, and you can ask them to maybe divide the work in multiple projects, so you might get like 2 or 3 reviews out of a big chunk of work instead of just one review. Uh, I think that's how it works, and yeah, that's a trick. Just work for free or bring your own clients from the real world. And how you'll find them? You just attend conventions, you attend meetings in your country, city, meetup.com, LinkedIn events. I think you find them there. Facebook events. I don't know what else. There are a lot of platforms, right, with events and everything. You just have to find them. That's how you find your clients. And actually, you'll find a lot of clients in that way, because when you're talking with someone face to face, they already feel closer to you and they already trust you, and it makes an immense difference. It may like it happen it matters a lot when somebody has already met you. And it you can generalize this in all forms of collaborations or relationships, right? Hello, Fizzy. Hi, nice to have you here. First time, first time, right? And yes, freelancer comes from working for free. Wow, this is maybe funny. Like this is, I just thought of this now. Yeah, this is a good one. I like my own jokes. Um, yeah, free comes from freedom. Um, I guess, or the search for freedom. Um, and of course comes with a cost. And of course, hit on the social aspect and teamwork, which is a big one. If I could change something about my past, then I would be. I mean, I could, if I also could be sure that I wouldn't break anything major. um, I would work more in companies at the beginning of my career. I worked very, very briefly. Very, I mean, maybe 2 years in total or something like that. So I would have worked maybe at least 3.5 or 4, and at most maybe 5, something like that. Um, because you're learning a lot. Like you, I mean, and I would change companies very often, 6 months, 1 year at max, and work in wildly different companies, small, big ones, more serious ones, more, I don't know, playful ones, like with a lot of like gaming themed and all that. Just try to work in companies that are as different as possible from all of the previous companies. And yeah, even for the same salary, but usually you will always have like 10% increase or something in the, like, in the most pessimistic case. um yeah, and you basically learn so many things, and then you can apply those in the freelancing space, and it will work very well for you. And of course, as I said, the social aspect is a big one. Maybe you are feeling good that you don't need to talk with people, but that's kind of a self, it's like a snowball effect where the more isolated you are, the more you want to be isolated. And I know that some people want to talk more to people, other people, and others want to talk less. Um, but everyone needs to have a baseline for their social aspect in their professional life, at least. You need the baseline. You cannot survive. You cannot survive. It's like if you're going to the extreme and not talking to anybody, like you can just be missing like half of your income. It's probably just you're leaving it on the table somewhere. So at some points, even just talking to someone can just double your income. It's just amazing. Like it's and I'm speaking from personal experience. The more I did like social work, in the sense that I or engage in social stuff, the more my income grew. Even though like I don't know, I guess like I'm kind of maybe like 70% introverted and 30% extroverted. So I'm kind of, I mean, I really like where I am, but I know some people are more introverted, some are more extroverted, and so on. And it's like sometimes it depends on the weather, and let's not get into that. Like, um, but everyone has to have a baseline for their social, engaging with online communities. Although that it's not, it's better than nothing, but if you can do it like in real life and find your communities in your city, and yeah, just engage, or maybe just, I don't know, once or twice per year, if you can afford it, with the low cost airline, just maybe you can fly to some places where there are conventions. I know here in Europe there are a lot of them. In US there are a lot of them. I think in New Zealand there are a lot of them. Maybe in Thailand as well. I don't really know. Um, I know in South Africa as well there are some communities if I remember correctly, and there's also in uh, sorry, I have to remember the country's name. Yeah, I don't remember, but it was like another country in Africa where they are big in uh they are big in have a growing gaming community. Yeah, so it's important the social aspect, and I don't know what else to say here. It's just try to, even if you don't like it, just try to uh, engage and just find maybe potential uh, work partners or clients or just people that you check on. Maybe they are too popular for you or something like that, but you can still uh, follow them and learn from their, maybe like they have, I don't know, let's say maybe they have like 5K followers or on a social media platform. I mean, don't have any, and maybe that's enough for them to not really want to talk to you. I don't know. It's superficial stuff, but maybe that's what happens. But it's still they're not like too big. So if you're messaging them from time to time to ask some things, maybe they'll respond back with some useful things that, because they are probably like ahead of you on some things. Just try to not be spammy. Uh, Try to not be spammy because yeah, it's really annoying. Um, yeah, as a freelancer, if you're willing to put in the work, rates are really good, and it's usually like I mean, freelancers are usually like also like regarded as contractors. So the rates are really good because there's no one in the middle. And of course, you can work with agencies, and I worked with one, and they're really good because they already do all the work of finding clients. Um, yeah, so this is where most of the money is basically, because there are no intermediaries mostly, and you're just handling the income tax and all of those things. But yeah, the general the general path is maybe 3 years, at least 3 years in a company, and then as a freelancer, unless like you have a very very good reason to start as a freelancer, um, or you live like in a country where there's no tax, or there's you already know someone who can supply you with clients. um yeah, or like if there is tax but like nobody pays it or something. I don't know. Again, I'm not, don't follow my tax advice. um there was something else I wanted to say about freelancing. uh Rates are good, yeah. Oh yeah, I'll try to, the more you advance, the more experience you get, or the more time passes, try to get fewer and fewer bigger clients, because that would make will make your life much easier, much easier. um yeah, at the beginning you will just accept whatever you find so you can get a few ratings there. 2 or 3 ratings are already like enough to get the engine running. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't have a slide on like invoicing your clients, but the last time I worked like internationally with somebody where they worked for like I hired them for a project, had to teach them how to use sites like Invoicely. I don't know if they rebranded or, but there are lots of sites where for free they will help you to invoice your clients. And you've received an invoice by now, so you have the person or entity who charges on the left, the person or entity who's being charged on the right, and you have then your line items where you say like, okay, what work was done, how many units, if there's a thing like unit, or hours are the units, how many per unit, and so on, and write the any like taxes, any, yeah, stuff like that, and you send that, and that's in your, that's how uh you charge basically. And if you're doing that, clients will trust you more. But also, in most countries, especially if you have the legal entity and you have like the tax stuff and everything set up, like you would need to do that anyway. And yeah, good. Nice, man. I also want to start my YouTube channel. So nice. Yeah, like I have a personal channel that's I haven't, sorry, I haven't posted anything there, but I have like around 30 projects in mind, and I already have Google Docs for all of them. It's more of a like Veritasium stuff, and more of like more of a one video per 2 or 3 months kind of thing. um we'll see. But the like this rockstart.ai YouTube channel is where I'm teaching this course as the first course on the platform. And I also have the Forbidden Byte YouTube account, where I'm talking like anything related to work or technical or programming or game dev or stuff like that. Yeah, so as a freelancer, you'd there's also freelancer.com, and last time I went there, I don't know, I just didn't like it. I think that you cannot make too much money there, but I don't know, maybe it changed. But there's Upwork, which was Elance with Odesk merged, and they created Upwork. And here as well, you'll find a lot of clients looking for cheap work. So here's where you will get your first client, right? If you want to get started. And there are also clients uh, who pay a lot here. So, but yeah, you'll need a compelling like proposal text and profile and so on. And I know I have a friend who worked regularly here and earned well here. Um, yeah, I honestly haven't like made it on Upwork, um, because I mostly like I found a project and I kind of um, worked on that project a lot, 7 years, so to speak, with a lot of pauses. And I kind of went into the project and I became a co-founder of it. That's I liked it a lot. Um, yeah, so my trajectory is a bit weird. So um, yeah, but as I said, Upwork is one. Discord has a lot of channels, but Game Dev League is the biggest one, and you will find there job posts, collaboration posts, like revenue share posts where you are not paid in money but in revenue share. Um, yeah, it's just having enough time to browse through them because it's a lot. There's also Fiverr, but Fiverr has this. Um, it's more of a one thing, uh, one shot project. So you can have like recurring clients there, recurring work from the same clients, and I'm pretty sure people are doing it that way. But uh, in general, you get like a project for fixing a bug, or a project for whatever, for implementing a feature, or yeah, integrating a login provider or something like that, or ads, and you'll probably never hear from that client again or something. But yeah, your mileage may vary. Uh, these are the platforms that I know of. I'm maybe one or two, maybe there's one or two more, and I just forgot about them. Yeah, and there's the issue of like spreading your work because if you're getting two reviews on Upwork and two reviews on Fiverr, it's kind of you're still having two reviews, but you actually have four in total. So if you can, maybe try to create a very small, simple website, personal website, where you post your like reviews, and when people click that review, you send them to that review link if possible. If not, just on your profile on that reviews platform, so that whoever browses your website, they will see that, okay, it's not like you who wrote those reviews, right? It should be a real one. So I don't think I've emphasized this enough. Like yesterday, I talked about creating your website, but man, just create your website. Just have a very simple website. You can even write it as plain text. But just learn it, or get a template. There are a lot of templates there on GitHub, free templates. And again, look at my previous I don't know where, 2 days ago, I think. But you can also just search about it, like how to make a GitHub page, and you buy a domain, and you'll find a tutorial on YouTube how to basically launch your page, launch your website on GitHub, and it's free. Um, yeah, and that's your portfolio, right? And I'm sure there are also like tools for building your website, especially with all this AI stuff now. Like you can just tell it your thing, and they will give you. I mean, you can even talk now, to ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you have at your time. Maybe you're watching this in 2026, or you're just thinking about it and it makes it for you. Uh, yeah, I guess I'm exaggerating, but yeah, you can just create, because if it's simple, then it can be done, right? So yeah, and then you put it in your resume, and you have your reviews there. Maybe Discord, maybe Fiverr and Upwork might already have like an embedded reviews section, which you can put on your website, but I'm not sure. Maybe they will have. Um, good. Taxes. I've already kind of talked about this. Talk to an accountant. Yeah. As I said, yeah. First, make money. Let's say a few thousands, or depending on your country. Like if $1,000 is like a lot in your country, then probably before making $1,000, you might look into how would you handle taxes. I don't know. But generally, like if I make an average, just make a couple thousand, and then look into how will you handle tax and all of that. Yeah, kind of already talked about this. Yeah, an accountant will also help you save a lot on your tax. So there's this general rule in most countries, and usually if you are, let's say, earning $1,000, but you buy a laptop by that, like that costs $1,000, you usually will pay zero tax. Usually, it depends on the country. Yeah. So it's kind of it's called a tax write-off, if I remember correctly in English. Um, and there are a lot of rules, complicated rules, and the smaller your country is, the more often these rules change because the people in charge are changing, so the rules should also change to benefit them. So because the rules are for them, not for you. So that's why you need an accountant, because they are keeping an eye on all of these changes, and yeah, they will just tell you, okay, this year you don't have the rules from previous years don't apply, so you will pay more or you'll pay less or whatever. But working as an indie, you probably know this meme or this movie. It's a great movie. You guys are getting paid. um, and yeah, so there's freelancer, indie, and employment. Broadly, there might be another one that escapes my mind. I don't know, but these ones are the ones that I'm just approaching here. Um, yeah, as an indie, you would basically what it means is that you can replace indie with a hobbyist, right? So I mean, it's not only that. Like, you can be a small indie developer, which usually means you're just working on your hobby, or you can be a medium indie developer, which means you're working on something more serious where you kind of already prepare to make money out of it. Or you can be a big indie, or probably an indie studio, so you can actually like be an employee in an indie studio, something like that. It's like on multiple levels, right? So you can have a big indie studio, right? I mean, if you're like 100 employees, then you're kind of just entering like the game studio uh arena, right? And like you can be even you can call yourself like a game studio with maybe 10 people. I don't know if you really want. There's like a big overlap. um and I'm not an expert on just uh trying to categorize things that categorically, but yeah, I just try to give you the whole spectrum. And it comes from independent developer, right? So like musicians sometimes, some of them are call themselves indie musicians, right? Like they're trying to do it their own way, to be their own publishers. um yeah, mostly. And the reason you'd want to do this is maybe you don't need money, or maybe you are already working a job somewhere or as a freelancer somewhere, and you want to work on your stuff or your own stuff as well at home. So that's why people do it, right? uh and it has a bigger social aspect to it, or at least it should have. I mean, you can be an indie developer in the basement who comes after 6 years of working in the dark on a game, and you are still an indie game dev, but it's wrong. It's very hard, wrong, and painful to do it that way. Um, just the community part is a very very important one in all aspects, but for an indie it's crucial, because that's your audience, and that's where you should write about your process, and you should let your people know what you're working on and your progress. And there's this fear of having your idea stolen, and in 9 cases out of 10 it's unfounded. But yeah, if your idea is like extremely innovative and there's nobody else doing it or who has ever done it, um, you can just hold on to your idea and just show the other processes on your development. Um, yeah, so if you're starting from 0 followers, just on Twitter use one hashtag, and on Instagram use maybe 3 hashtags, and on LinkedIn 3 hashtags, and on Facebook I don't know how many or how it works. At least as of 2024, that's what I know. There's also threads, and I think threads are a bit. I don't use them, but I think they're more friendly to people working in the art space, and like gaming is an art, right? Developing games is a form of art, so I'm pretty sure you'll get some reach there as well. And I know it's overwhelming to have multiple socials and to track them, but and it was painful for me to basically engage in just socials as part of my work, but I got used to it, and it's been amazing. I am constantly learning, and I just recently joined the 6 months. I don't know how to call it, kind of an apprenticeship program, which is called Build Space, which is amazing. And I actually used it as I was already being I was already creating this course, but I kind of created it also like as part of that program. So, and I've learned lots of things. For example, it helps a lot to create videos with you, where you just post a recap of each week for each week. And yeah, you would basically, like, if you're selling something, or if you want your people to check your game or whatever, putting your face there, like, it's really helps a lot, so people will see that you're a real person, and they will just identify with you, right? It's one of those things where it's very similar, when you're looking at the reviews on Amazon or whatever, and you see a very bad video about someone using that product or showing that product, like 7 seconds of vertical low quality video about that product. And when you see that, like, you see, man, this is a real product. I like it. Like, it's social proof, right? And it's kind of the same thing when you're putting yourself out there. And you can start with just journaling. It's even called like devlog. So it's not only in games, it's like in whatever you're working on, devlog. So you're basically talking about your journey. But if you can record yourself, you don't need anything, just record yourself. It can be bad, like, you don't need like a good microphone and all of that. Just show people that you're doing that. And I don't know how to articulate it, but it will help a lot. And as an indie, just do that. It will help a lot. Like, whether you're working on a small game by yourself or with somebody else, just gather your community on Discord, and you can post it under your own account, personal account, depending on how comfortable you're with that, where you can create another account for maybe the future game studio that you're looking at having. Or if you, I don't know, there's no right answer here, but maybe you want to create an account just for the game itself, you can do that as well. um yeah, I'd say just post personally, if you can, if you don't have like a huge issue with that. It's easier, and especially if you don't have enough followers, I mean, it's kind of it doesn't even matter, right, if you don't have many followers to start with. Finding a publisher, I mean, once you have a prototype of your game, or maybe even your game is, like, let's say 60% finished or something like that, you will want to have a publisher. Or if you want to publish yourself, this is a big subject. I don't know, I'm not really experienced in this area, so I won't be talking too much about it. But there are a lot of people who will want to publish your game for a piece of the pie. So it's kind of not that hard to find a publisher once you have the game, because there are like small publishers, big publishers, and so on. And depending on the platform, like mobile or console or PC, but you will have a publisher, yeah, and you will be talking about revenue share, like how will you split it, contract conditions, and just use ChatGPT or Cloud or whatever to go over the contract. And they will tell you like, okay, this contract binds you to this clause where you are not able to create space travel games for the next 50 years, right? Or I don't know, something like that. And I mean, you should also do this for like employment contracts or freelancing contracts, or yeah, you should really do that. And there's also this back and forth where they send you a contract, you say it's okay, and then when they send it to you for you to sign, it's a different one, or at least not a different one, but maybe they add one or two things, and maybe it's not like malice, maybe it's just that they, I don't know, they just in the meantime they figure out like, okay, we also need to add that thing and that thing. And like I'm using like a PDF diff tool when I'm doing this, and it's like on SmartGit or all of these Git diff visual tools where it can show you what line did they add with green, or what line did they remove with red, or what did they change. And I really like that. Yeah. As for revenue share, it will vary wildly, like from 60% for them. Some will even ask for 90% revenue share. And yeah, they really know that they are kind of sending users to you. Like if you would have made like 10K by yourself, and with them you're making maybe 500K, it's still better for you because you will be taking home like 50K instead of 10K, right? If you're giving them like 90%, but 90% is a lot. So I mean, even 70% in some cases is a lot. Um, it varies. Like it really depends what they are doing for you. Usually they should do as much as possible, so you won't need to post on socials, you won't need to um make translations like localization or any other thing. Like they should handle most of the things. um yeah, and it varies. Like it can be between 20% and, like I said, 70%. Just don't go over 70. um yeah, just think about what will you get compared to not working with them, like in terms of numbers, not in percentages, because percentages will be high usually. um yeah, and I don't really like high percentages. I don't I haven't figured it out, not even now. So usually I would try to negotiate to maybe 30% maximum, if they are doing like everything and I'm just working on the game. And yeah, it really depends. Some publishers, and just watch the GDC channel. They have a lot of talks there about like publishing and all of this stuff. They are very very useful, and they also have postmortems. That's what you call a talk where you are exploring what went good and what went wrong with the game after you published it. And there are a lot of people from major companies that are talking about even bigger games. That's okay. What did we do wrong? What went well? What went wrong? And so on. Really, really useful. Um, about the revenue share, yeah, it varies widely. So some publishers would even help you with the actual technical work, in the sense that they will give you maybe engineers to work with you, like game developers, right? Or artwork, or some IP maybe. So like intellectual property, like they maybe can secure your partnership with, I don't know, a company that, I don't know, Spider-Man, or I don't know, or whatever. Like you can feature a character, a well-known character in your game, and that will drive sales quite a lot. Or it really depends on a case by case basis. But you always have to ask about, okay, what will you give me for this percentage, and where is it written in the contract, right? And it just try to never be only you and their representative. I mean, you can be in the same call and just decide stuff and agree on stuff, but then just take this contract and talk about it with somebody else. um that's where community comes in. Like you can even post in the community, not the contract, but you can post like, hey guys, I need some help, have you secured any um publishing contracts before? And 100% of the time you'll find someone who will help you, because they know how painful it is to be screwed by a publisher, and it happens a lot. um I don't know the percentages of good to bad publishers, but I know there are a lot of amazing publishers which will just give you money, and they will just tell you, just do your work, we don't care. And that will happen because they will have already like screened you and talked to you, and they would have seen that you're a good person, a serious developer, and that you love what you're doing, and they will already like know you better than you know yourself, because they probably already met a lot of people like you, and they know that you have a lot of potential even if you don't know about it, and they're just throwing money at you so you can have a good life while you're working on your game. Yeah, so it's just a matter of finding them, and finding publisher is just a Google search away or an LLM search away. But also on Discord, there's a lot of servers that and channels in servers which have, and especially the Game Dev League Discord channel server, they have a section there as well. Yeah, if you don't have money for lawyers, because they're really good for publishing deals, especially if you're talking like, I don't know, 50K and up, 50K, 100K. It's quite, yeah, it's quite a lot for a small guy. So um just, yeah, look on YouTube. Like you'll find a lot of content from the GDC, Game Developers Conference, and they will be talking about a lot of these things, like what went wrong, what went well with publishing deals and all of that. Like you will find a lot. And uh, on this next section, I'm listing a lot of amazing YouTube channels, and they are not related to like contracts, lawyers, or developers, or they are just game developers' biggest gold nuggets resources. And I think it's even like in order. Maybe I would put this game makers toolkit before extra credits. Yes, just put it before, like GDC, extra credit, game makers toolkit, extra credits. Thomas Brush. This guy tried to learn the presentation from him, just how he presents his work, because he's very uh, he's very dedicated on the visual side and on the flashy side of the game development aspect, like the yeah, basically the non-technical part of the game development. And I mean, he does a lot of technical stuff as well, but uh, I mean, I didn't watch him too that much, but he has a lot of value in, like, you can see what he's doing and just apply it on your side, on those area of how you present your game, um, how to balance your work-life balance, how to manage your work-life balance, and yeah, he's pretty honest guy, and he's a cool guy, and you should check him from time to time as well. And the indie game dev, I don't know about this one, but I've heard it from I've heard about it from time to time. Um, Maybe there's another one, but I don't remember. But like, if you were to pick just three, pick these the first three. Um, yeah, crowdfunding. So as an indie, you can also go this route, and you can be in both lanes at once. So you don't only need to have a publisher or crowdfunding. You can have both, or you can have first one of them, then another one, and so on. And Kickstarter and Indiegogo, these are very big subjects, but put it simple, you you put your project out there, you create nice visuals and milestones and goals, and like, okay, if I will reach $100, $100,000, I'll be making this. If I reach 5K, I will do this. If I reach 50K, I will do whatever. And you have your tiers there where people can donate $1, 5, whatever you want there, and you like can give them whatever you think makes sense. Like, I will tattoo your name on my forehead for 50K, whatever. I don't know, just exaggerating. But people did that as well, if I remember correctly, at some point. Like, um, but what happens most of the time, you, for example, you're working on a game, on an RPG, let's say, and people are donating like from $1 to $5,000, and for whoever donates 1,000 or more, you will create a statue of them in a secret room, or maybe not that secret room of the game, and that's prestige for them, and a lot of people like that. And yeah, when people will play the game, they will enter a room and there will be a statue of that guy, like superhero James whatever, right? And that's something very, and maybe you have like one slot of for a single person that can donate 5K, where they have a golden statue, right? And stuff like that. And yeah, just if you study the platform and just maybe spend 20, 30 hours of studying on YouTube, you will get a lot of ideas on how to structure your Kickstarter or Indigo campaign. And yeah, you put your game out there, make a nice demo. Just don't make a weird demo. Just make a nice demo with you. Film yourself and edit the game and edit the video. Show a lot of gameplay. Don't just talk. Like, just talk 20, or you can talk the whole game, but show the game more than you show yourself, but still show yourself, so people will know that the game has a face. Um, yeah, and maybe 2 minutes and 30 seconds or something for the demo, or for the video, for the presentation video. Don't make it too long. Don't like try to edit it a lot, so you won't have like pauses, big pauses in speech, and like a lot of like I have here. Yeah, so I don't know, you can have like some people have like 10 minutes demos, I don't know. But what people want to see on Kickstarter, they want to see what the game is in the very, like in the first 5 seconds. They want to know what everything is, and then you can talk about 8 seconds about who you are, and then maybe 8 seconds about your, I don't know, about yourself, like a small story. But not everyone is interested in your story, but it's nice to have it there. And some people like want some context, like, okay, who are you, where are you from, why are you doing this, and so on. And what do you need for the game, like where are you at this moment of shooting the video. And just try to be authentic, just try to be authentic. Don't make it like don't turn it into a commercial of, or yeah, just be authentic. Like, say, man, guys, I uh invested like $500 into it. I need another 10K to or 5K, so 5 grand to make this like just publish it on Steam as an early access. A lot of people raise money on these platforms, crowd fund money on these platforms for Steam. If I remember correctly, last time I checked, like that's how like for some reason that's the biggest the that happens most often. Like people are raising are crowdfunding money for Steam for their an early access version of their game. Yeah, and if you need to raise 5K, you should have like stretch goals up until maybe 100K if you think that your game could be really interesting for people. And you will create what's called stretch goals. So I need 5K, but if I raise like 50K, then I will hire people to help me with stuff. Like I will make like instead of 2D with sprites with images, I will make it a 2.5D, which means that you're still like the movement is in 2D, let's say like a platform, but the characters and everything is in it's 3D, right? Um, yeah, whatever you want. And yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do. Like people also like create letters, handwritten letters for their backers, whoever backs them on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and they are sending like physical letters to their place. Like you can add any perks you want, right? And if you can't deliver the game, that's okay. Like you should just keep your, like there's a deadline. I don't remember. There's a deadline, right? After you have raised the money, and like then you need to deliver. Uh, and there's a misconception here. You don't really need to deliver the game, but you need to deliver the perks. So if somebody backed you for $10 and they need to receive like a special art catalog, which like your designer or you whatever have created like an HD catalog of your characters in your game, right? Like a PDF of 10 pages, let's say. You have to deliver that to them, right? I mean via email or whatever, and not necessarily the game. Like it's good to also work on your game because that's what you raised money for, but it's important to reward your backers with what you promised, right? And there's also a thread, like I don't know, it's like on Twitter or like in a social app where you will post. Basically you are posting your progress, posting, and people commenting, and then you're responding to them and so on. There's a page, right? So you are doing that, and if you have the time, also do it on like Twitter or whatever your uh wherever your community is where you post. And that's it. Yeah, and maybe like you thought it would take 2 months to deliver your game, but maybe it will take 8 months. Just try to keep your community involved there, and just yeah, just keep them updated. So it's not like, just try to not have this thing posted. Just try to not have that text like posted last time seen 2 months ago. It's too much. At maximum, let's say maybe 3 weeks, right? Just yeah, you can really post very very simple things there, just to tell people that you are still, you still care, right? Yeah. And there's like game jams, which are actually like hackathons for games, but of course they are there are nuances there, and they're different in their own ways. um I have no experience with this, but they are really worth it from everything that I hear and I read, and I'm even uh, yeah, looking to be involved in some of them now, to just help with organization and all stuff, because yeah, I just want to see how everything works. And yeah, but I know people who have no experience, and they still go to game jams, like smaller game jams, and it's like it's magical, because you don't know anything, and you have to do something, and you just start and learn the thing, like the Unity game engine. You learn it along the way, but you naturally learn only the most important things that can give you results in, like, I don't know, 24 hours. Right? It's pretty good, actually. It's a pretty interesting and that's what hackathons are as well, right? um yeah, and just try. You'll find a lot of websites that host game jams, but they're usually on Discord. You'll find a lot of game jams on Discord. Yeah, just search for them. There's a lot of them, smaller ones, big ones, the ones with prizes. You can create your own game jams if you like can gather 5 people from your communities, maybe online or in real life, and you create your own game jam. Just create a Discord server, and there's it, right? There you go. You just have to see how others are doing it, and you do it yourself. But yeah, just try to participate in one of these, like, and you can put them on your resume, right? If you want. I mean, you should put them on your resume. Like game jam at I don't know, August 2024. Uh, 1 week of developing whatever social good focused games, learning games. I don't know, extremely creative, unique games, or whatever. What's the depending on the game jams theme. Yeah. So game jams, don't forget about them. Crowdfunding, game jams. Yes, and here are more resources. This was called Gamma Sutra before this, and they rebranded to Game Developer. They also have jobs there. Polygon is more of a like more of a like news website, and I think is the biggest one in the industry. TIG Source Forum also, it's a popular forum where you'll find like game development resources, not necessarily only for indies, but perfect for indies. IndieDB forum, GameDev.net. Just screenshot these or open bookmarks to them, and just they are very good. Like there are a lot of websites and resources, but these ones are the most important ones, and they are not the only ones that are the most important ones, but they are the only ones that fit the slide. And if you would choose only like 5 of them, these ones, like, you are good to go. Like there's already a lot of resources there for you. Yeah. Yes, as an indie, you rely on online communities a lot, and of course, because I've already talked about them yesterday, w4d3, so week 4, day 3, so yesterday, I won't be posting them here as well. So Reddit, Discord, and Facebook groups, they are very important. And I just specified the ones that I found. Um, yeah, the ones that I found to be the most popular, useful, relevant, and yeah, as an indie, like you should be everywhere. Like you should just know them inside out. And once you are in a community, you don't really need to put any effort into staying there because you'll be drawn to it automatically, because you'll be seeing people from all of the skill levels. Like you will be learning from people that are more experienced than you, or maybe you will help others that are less experienced than you, or you'll just be interested in what they're doing, or you will be seeing that someone is maybe using a plugin that are doing something much easier than you're doing it, and you're like, you worked 1 week on something to create something, but there's already a plugin for that, and you didn't know about it because it's, I don't know, you just don't know about it. And yeah, it's, we are humans are tribal creatures. We need other people, and others need us. So yeah, it's kind of there's this thing, there's this anecdote where if there are two persons and one person, if I give you a coin and you give me a coin, we both have one coin. But if I give you an idea and you give me your idea, we both have two ideas. And it's kind of a life hack, like universal hack. Like imagine 10 people exchanging ideas. You give one idea and you get 9 in return, and they are also getting 9 in return. So there's it's not always that somebody wins and somebody loses. It's not a zero sum game always. So it's one of those things where you just create value out of thin air, right? Which is actually creating value out of community. And yeah, it's quite amazing. And this applies to all aspects of our lives. Like if you have 10 friends, one knows where to buy good shoes, one knows where to get good food, one knows somebody at the company where you want to land a job, one knows, I don't know, where good seaside spots where you'll find good sunshine and whatever. And like, you got the idea, right? So community. Can you link your Unity plugin, and how long did it take you to develop it? Well, it took quite a lot, but initially maybe a few weeks in 2016. And after that, like I had like bursts of development, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks again, then 2 weeks, a few times. But by 2019, I guess, most of the development was done, and most of the hardcore development was done, because like code for new demos and examples, because there are 27 examples. Uh, yeah, like it just kept continuing. Maybe up until 2021, I worked on demos and everything, like creating examples for people to just copy and paste in their own project and modify. I mean, you can search for it. I mean, just 1 second. I don't want to turn this into an ad for my thing, right? Even though like everything here is free, but yeah, that's my plugin there. Okay, working in a company. Welcome to the family, right? And there's this always this feeling, or this Im- implied thought that um, we have to be like a family, or we want to be like a team, or we want to be like whatever. And when you like when you're applying, yeah, it's this thing, and it's not like a bad thing. I just I like this meme for it. um yeah, of course, when you do a regular employment, it's you have every complexity just goes away. You're just doing the work, and you then in your banking app you see some number go up once per month, and you feel good because you can buy stuff. That's like the laziest, easiest mode of making money, and of course your government takes a huge cut from that. And in probably, at least in Europe, like in, I think in Nordic countries, and maybe I think in Germany and other countries, like they might take more than 50%. I don't know. And that's a whole political stuff. Like I'm not an expert, and I don't want to go into that. But some say that the taxes on their salary are like a tax for laziness in a way. It kind of makes sense if you think about it, because if you were to make a company and employ people, you're doing more good than just if you uh, work only for yourself as an employee, right? So it's an it's an implied incentive to create businesses and companies, right? To sustain the economy, than to just work for yourself. So that's why if you're an employee, like you're the biggest burden, tax burden, lands on you. So, but of course, yeah, like it's not that like everyone would want to create a company or something like that, because then, I mean, if everybody creates companies, then there's nobody that will be an employer in those companies, right? um yeah, and it's not like you have the freelancer, you have the indie, and you have the employee. And it's usually like my recommended path is like be an employee for 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, then be a freelancer for a few of them, and or indie, where it really depends on your income, right? Or what you want to do. um but that's the general path, right? Or you can just work as an employee your whole life, because there's some people that just are not workaholics, and they value other things in life, and they just want to uh keep their personal lives separate from their work lives, and that's like that's their decision. And just it's usually obvious, you don't really have to think about it. um yeah, and I guess this is the easiest section to talk about, because that's what work is usually, like working for a company. Like even if you're a freelancer, you're kind of working for a company. There are not many differences. um And these things also apply to freelancing. If you're, for example, coming to an existing project, or an existing team on your client side, they already have this thing, right? So we can talk about these two things, about maybe a bit. Um, yeah, so generally, Scrum is this thing where it's part of it's an agile methodology, which where you're iterating in sprints, usually 2 weeks, where you have each day you are you having a meeting, and then once every 2 weeks, like at the end of the sprint, you have another like two meetings, one for it's called retro, and uh, you are talking about how it went, what you can improve, and so on and so forth. And then at the beginning of the next sprint, you have I don't know the names. I don't really care, but you have this process of talking about what will we do in this sprint, right? And that's what you do at the beginning of the sprint, and where you assign tasks, or maybe you don't assign them to specific persons, but at least you take a chunk of the big pile of tasks and put it in the current sprint, and iterate through them. And there's more to it, of course, but I'm trying to simplify it. And Kanban is um, something even simpler, which is kind of the same thing. You can have, and you should have like sprints, or yeah, like sprints, maybe 2 weeks or so on and so forth. In Kanban, you can have them like it might be. But what usually so Kanban is a more simplified version of that. So where you are focusing more on, okay, what tasks are new, what tasks are in progress, and so on and so forth, and kind of you can tell in a way that Scrum kind of includes Kanban. So it's kind of, Scrum does everything that Kanban does with a lot of other more rigid, or more structured approach, where Kanban is simpler. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really remember what, if there's any difference. Um, but usually you'll see in smaller projects you'd use this one, and in bigger projects you'd use this one. Um, yeah, I don't really. This is not really my passion to get into the theory of these ones. Negotiating your salary. I made a slide a long time ago, so I have to remember if I will be talking about this in the next slides or here. But usually, if you're at the beginning, or whenever you are, like, just do some research. Do some research, like for this role, then the client's location, or the company's location, or where you will be working physically, and your experience, like your, because you might have like 1 year of experience, but maybe you think that you deserve more, because maybe, I don't know, maybe you think that you're smarter, and something like that. I don't know, you deserve more maybe, or maybe you think you're not the smart. I don't know, you deserve less. But I mean, not, I don't want to, I mean, I use the verb deserve, but um that's bad, right? But it's just that, some people are more talented at doing some things, and some people are less talented, or some people have more experience and some people have less experience, and then you have your talent, and then you have your experience, and you have just two values, and you basically are paid on their sum, right? So you can be very talented but have less experience, or less talented and more experience, and they are kind of can be paid the same. But usually the experience actually is more important for the companies. And this is true, like, this is not me being politically correct or whatever, because if they see that you work on projects, that's why I'm insisting like crazy on projects. There's just have a lot of projects there. Then that's the just undeniable truth that you can do the work, and then they will just pay you for that. um as for negotiating it, like, of course, the more experience you have, the more leverage you have. um well, a trick that I've used is, I was always comparing what my friends were making, or my imaginary friends were making, let's say. But I was basing that in research. Like, okay, if I knew that the salary is, let's say, 60K, I would say that, hey, I have a friend at this company that's making like 70K, and then I guess, like, for my experience, maybe 65K or something like that. Let's say, like, just an example, right? I adapted it to US's um, sellers as a beginner, right? As an absolute beginner. Because in other countries, 60K is a lot, right? Including in my country. So, um, Yeah, so there's not much that I can talk about here. Like negotiating your salary is, if you are experienced and you have at the beginning. I mean, if you're a beginner, like there's not much you can do there, but try to at least research. Like it's very important to not like get half of what you see online for your experience level. It's, yeah, just try to not get that. And there's also perks. You can negotiate for perks. Like if, for example, you want to travel somewhere and they happen to have like a contract with the travel agency and they can help you travel in that. I don't know. You want to visit Thailand or something, and they already have some offers there. And they can just say, okay, you can go like twice per year for 2 weeks in Thailand or whatever. And yeah, you might want to do that and take a smaller salary because you would have spent your salary, part of it, on traveling there anyway, and the accommodation and all of that. I mean, yeah, it's basically, instead of taking the money then spending on something, maybe they are already providing that something to you, right? And then you just stay there and not miss that opportunity because maybe you like the place, you like the people and everything, but maybe the salary is not what you want, but the salary plus the perks are what you want. So that's also part of negotiating. Like if you don't like the salary, you can also ask like, okay, what other perks do you have? Can you give me an Xbox? If maybe that's your dream to have an Xbox, whatever, or can you give me whatever at some point, or do you have like some discounts, some partnerships that? I mean, that really works. What most companies provide, can provide or have partnership with, it's gyms. They might have a lot of gym partnerships, and yeah. What did I want to talk about? I want to say something here, but I don't remember. Anyway, that's it with the. Oh, I wanted to talk about like when you are like, let's say 5, 6, 7 years of experience. Because there are people that don't have like good negotiating skills. I'm not an expert on negotiating. I'm just like maybe a 7 or an 8 maximum. But yeah, if you have a lot of experience, it's really like the same. It's the same steps as if you're, as I mentioned before. Um, but it really depends on what you worked on. So if you worked on simple projects, on very repetitive tasks, you might not be able to secure a higher salary. But if you like worked in a lot of departments, and even though your role was just developer, user developer, but I don't know, you've trained an intern at some point, even though like on your role, there's like officially you're not like a senior developer or a team lead or anything, but if you've trained an intern, you just write that on a resume, or just mention that, or just try to mention every extracurricular thing that you've done, or yeah, just try to mention that, and ideally you already have it in your resume, and based on that you negotiate your salary. I don't know what else, as a more experienced dev, you would have to ask about how raises work in a company, how a salary is, how raises are given. So is there like an annual review, or how does it work? um, can you, for example, maybe they don't give you your salary but they give you a smaller salary, and can you tell them, uh, just ask him, hey, can I work for this salary for 1 month, and as just testing, right? I don't know how it's called, where so it's just, you're just working for a month, like temporarily, and if they like you, they should like give you another, I don't know, 1K per month or whatever. Like if you're I don't know, or let's say like maybe you need X and they give you X minus 20% because that's their budget. But you can ask them, hey, can you still give me, you'll give me this thing for 1 month, and if you like what I'm doing and everything works fine, then you'll give me that amount. And sometimes that would work. Like if even though it goes above their budget, when they are saying that you're telling them that, they are immediately imagining that, hey, this guy thinks that he can predict the future and he thinks that we will like him or her. So okay, that means that uh, there might be something to this, right? So they might be able, they might say yes, like, okay, if you are doing a good job, we might give you your salary after a month or so, or maybe 3 months, depends on your how much you think you're willing to risk or wait, right? um yeah, like that's everything that came on top of my head here. Yeah. Team structure, common roles. So yeah, you will have, as a developer, usually as a game developer, you'd have and I talked about this yesterday, um art guys, so 2D 3D arts guys that are creating backgrounds, that are creating maybe even particle systems and assets, like directly game objects and everything, and you're just using what they're creating. um you have level designers that are are creating like houses or boxes in a 2D platform, for example, or whatever. You have game designers who watch YouTube all day and can come up with ideas. You have I don't remember the other. Yeah, gameplay designers, I think, or gameplay or game. Uh, I don't remember, but basically the guy who um actually it's level designer, yeah, but there are like in small projects they're not only designing levels but also like dragging your player prefab in the scene and setting the parameters and all of that. And yeah, those are, I mean, I'm talking about a bigger company here where you have a lot of people on the team, and you're just coding stuff and just communicating across departments. And of course, you have a lot of automated testing. So people that are automating tests. You have people that are manually trying testing and trying to break the game. Um, you have a team lead. Usually a team has between 3 and 7 people. That's like the ideal number if I remember correctly. And yeah, basically you can have you can have multiple teams, and they usually have like a code name, so it's easier to uh you know refer to them, or it's just funnier. um yeah, if you have like 50 people, you might have a lot of teams there, right? And some work on some parts or some levels of the game, and the others on others. Yeah, and you see is this hierarchical view of or hierarchical structure where you have like team leads, and the team leads also respond, or they um yeah, they talk with somebody above them, which I mean, you might call him like head of engineering, or uh maybe an architect, software architect, or a technical leader, like tech lead. um yeah, this hierarchical view. And yeah, that's basically it in terms of team structure. So you'll usually like be looking at a list of tasks, and the team lead would assign the tasks and would just from time to time poke you and ask you like, okay, man, how's that thing, like, did you get stuck? How much give me an ETA, how much more it will take, is it ready? Stuff like that. But it's not that I mean, it's not bad. Like maybe you're imagining it like someone who's really annoying. But where I've worked, people are really cool. So and I work like in multiple places, and even though like I really didn't like many aspects, uh, on those places, like people usually tend to be nice to each other in yeah, in companies. I mean, they tend to like more than 50% of people, let's put it that way, are nice to each other, and yeah, depends on your luck. How to sell your skills? How to sell your skills? So I don't know about this, like I said about this slide, but we actually did this yesterday, right? Yeah, we actually did this yesterday. I don't feel like talking about it again. Um, just the yesterday's session was very important for the profile part of your career, like building your profile. But usually you should keep everything that's relevant to your work and to your profile in your resume, and talk about it, and just not be afraid of speaking about it, because the recruiters and everyone knows that software people tend to not be that good at selling themselves. Um, so yeah, try to get some help. There's also like that those guys at resume.io, like the site where you can put your resume online. Have like a plan for maybe it's $5. I don't remember. I think they're using AI, or I don't know. Yeah, they can give you suggestions, and of course, you can just upload your resume to an LLM platform, and they will just tell you like 90% of what everyone would tell you. So yeah, I mean, just upload an image, right? Because then the assistant would just see also the context and the structure of it and everything. But yeah, just it's one of those things, like it's easier to sell a good thing than a bad thing, right? So you need to have projects under your belt. So a project that took you 1 week, then another one that took you 1 month or 2 or 3 months, and try to, if you can, put them online somewhere. But it's not that different than just having a video of your demo. So a video of your demo, not even a video of your game, right? And I mean, not try. You should be creating that game, so that if somebody from a company that you're applying to asks you, okay, show me some code and let me ask you some questions, you should be able to know what you write there, or at least to be, yeah, if you write it, you know what's about, and you should be honest with them. Like if you've used ChatGPT or of these things, just talk about it, because you should be using them. And if they for some reason tell you that you shouldn't be using it, just run, because I mean, what the heck, it's we should be using all of these models to empower us to create things faster, because there are a lot of repetitive boring stuff that's not creative at all. Like you have the creativity in you, but instead of you executing it in 10 minutes, an LM can execute it in 20 seconds, right? Just small individual tasks at times, right? So just never be ashamed or something like about using LLMs, right? I mean, it doesn't even make sense to be ashamed of it. And I know like probably most of you aren't, but some of you might be, because I know like people are very different and unique, and some people are too shy, some are not too shy, and so on. Okay. Yeah, where to apply. as an employee, so for a company. I don't know if this is the exact order. Might be. But for example, jobs.gamedeveloper.com, I think it's very popular. Well found is where you'll find startups a lot, and they usually have more. The requirements are a bit higher here, but yeah, if you have like 6 or 7 years of experience, you might find here, and it's really cool to work with a startup. And of course, there are a lot of gaming startups as well. And there's also like Y Combinator jobs, but I think you have even less, even yeah, fewer chances to go there. There's also this thing Remote OK, which a guy created it, and it's mostly web development jobs, but you'll find some game development jobs there from time to time. And yeah, it's not in order, so it's just assume it's unordered. Hitmarker is also a very popular website where you'll find gaming jobs, and I think it's mostly for US. And they also have a weekly newsletter, and you can subscribe to it. And they also have newsletter, right? And the bottom of it, you'll find jobs there. LinkedIn jobs, but everyone applies them, and you'll see like 800 applications to a job, and you'll get discouraged. But when something is easy to do, of course, there are a lot of people that are doing it, right? So out of those 800, probably just 400 people are really, or maybe 1000. Oh, not 1000. From 800, maybe 100 are actually qualified for the job, and out of those 100, maybe 50 will get a message, and then 10 of them would get an interview, and so on. So just don't get scared when you see a lot of people applying to a job, because it's not that, I mean, everyone can apply, right? And there are a lot of tools that just are automating the applications, and that's why they also have to respond with automating the screenings, or the just deciding who will be automatically rejected or not. um Glassdoor as well. I haven't applied there too much. I think, I don't know. Yeah, at some point, like I applied on a lot of platforms in my career, and at times, like I would just get an email about something, about an opportunity, and that's how I got my last opportunity. Like in 2023, there was a contract, a good contract. Um, and I don't know where it came from. Right, it came from one of these things, but it was. I mean, you never know where you get a good opportunity. Um, yeah, Glassdoor, indeed. ArtStation, mostly for artists. I don't know if there are like developer jobs there. And this jobs.gamedeveloper.com. So I'm pretty sure I missed some of them, but this is where, I mean, if you only browse these ones, it's enough, right? Just maybe ignore ArtStation. I'm pretty sure there are no game developer jobs there, but if you're interested in artist jobs, or maybe you want to post a job for an artist, like maybe you're already like a game studio, or you are an indie developer who needs an artist, maybe you'll find them there. Although it's just better as needed to go to a Discord server. You'll find a lot of people there that are looking for the same thing as you. um yes, there are so many people applying, so you have to somehow be different, or you are already different, just showing that you're different. You don't need to try to be different, because you are. So just you have to convey that better. And there's also like of course, you can get creative. you can reach to people. You can reach people on LinkedIn and other platform, but usually LinkedIn directly. Some people they have premium, and they can set in their settings, they can set their DMs as open, so anyone can message them. Of course, if you have premium, you can message them, anyone usually. But if they also have premium and they set that settings, also you can message them regardless of whether you have premium or not. Yeah, and there's also, like, there are tools for finding emails for any companies. So do your own research there. um yeah, and it really helps. And of course, keep it short. When you write an email, just keep it short, really short. Make your resume speak for you, and your portfolio even. You can put your portfolio before your resume even. um yeah. What else? There was something here I wanted to say. So there are tools for finding emails, yeah, and reaching out to people. Yeah. If you know someone in a company, that helps you a lot. Of course, it's kind of obvious, right? And it's not that you have higher chances of getting hired compared to other people, but you will just get you'll just have your resume put on the top of the pile, right? Usually. So it's one of those things that there are so many people applying that they might not have the time to screen all of them. um but the order in which they are screening people matters, right? And if you know somebody, they might help you put your resume higher a bit, right? So that's why it works. Yeah, just try, like, maybe you know somebody from your college, or whatever, and you haven't talked to them in 2 years, but just try talking to them, and just ask them to maybe help you, or maybe just ask if they have open jobs. And people usually are willing to help you, because they have nothing to lose. I mean, if they think that you will not do a good job, maybe they will not recommend you, right? uh yeah. How to deal with being rejected. um well, yeah, grow up. So work on your portfolio, and like I said, I will be insisting on projects. Just create projects, add one more project. It's the only way. Like, working on your portfolio is the only way. I mean, it's statistically impossible, or practically impossible, to add another project, and then another project, and then apply, and then another project, and iterate it. I don't know, until you get like 7 projects in your portfolio. But not like 1 day projects where you just hacked something up very fast, and there's nothing coherent there. Just I mean, better to have 2 projects that are, it's obvious how the game works and what it's about, and right, then like 7 projects, each one that took 1 to 2 days, where it's just people can't understand what happens in that game, and it looks very bad. I mean, not that it looks bad, but it's obvious when a game took you only 1 day to create, right? Just aim at just having, I don't know, projects take you like a month maybe to create, right? Maybe you have like project maybe took you 2 weeks or something like that. You can have that. But yeah, the more projects you have in your portfolio, and the more different they are between each other, then that's the key. The higher your chances. At least that's how it should be. I mean, if I were to hire people, I would look at their projects portfolio, and if they tell me like I've created that by myself, I mean, it's even like it's automatic. I don't even have to think about it. It's only a matter of trusting that they really did that thing, right? That's another subject. But that matters a lot. Yeah, and I mean, present it in a better way if you can. Like the best way to present something is with a talking head. The way you're seeing it now. You see me here I am, and I'm talking about stuff. And imagine here's my game, and the whole thing takes 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I'm presenting my game. And that even that it's a lot. And you can have like a video presenting all of your projects, and that's harder to change. Or you can have one video per project, which takes 40 seconds per project. Try to keep it very short because people will not see your video. They won't look into it. Uh, you just have to have like under a minute, just 30 seconds. Why you did it, how it works, what was challenging, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I already talked about this. Try to know people, like go in real life at events and just yeah, just find people there and connect with them. It's actually one of the laziest, easiest things you can do. Just going to conventions, events, yeah, game dev events if you have them, or maybe events that are organized by students. So it's not necessarily that the theme of the event needs to be gaming, but a place where there's a chance you'd find game devs. And I was quite surprised to see on every software related event that I went to, I would find at least one game dev. At least one, always. So yeah, like if you're living in a place where there's no like game dev culture, or at least there's no events, just go to the software events, right? Software events on Meetup or other platforms. Take care of your body and mind. Yeah. Okay, so this is more of a like in closing. In a company, of course, there are a lot of things that might work against you, and just you might you might meet some annoying people, and this is more of a general phenomenon, not necessarily that has to do with the gaming uh, area, but yeah, try to not like you work 8 hours and then you come home and you are gaming for another 4 hours, and you don't take care of your body and mind. You don't like read or meditate or go for a walk, or it's not healthy, and you won't last a lot. um Usually that those things, the first part, the bad things are packaged with probably unhealthy food and drinks and all that. um and when you are going to an interview, I think that's what this thing refers to. uh don't smell like a homeless, and don't play mobos until 3 a.m. before the exams. um yeah, like if you're like a student, right, and you have exams and all that. um yeah, that's kind of, I know it's funny and obvious, and some of you are asking yourselves, or like, why did I put this thing here? But there are some people, like 5% of people that need to know this. And this maybe 25% of people. Yeah, so this is for you. You know who you are. Interviews. So why do you want this job? Well, I've always felt passionate about not starving to death. Yeah, so we're 2 hours in. I'm pretty sure you guys from the future are playing this at like 1.25 or 1.5 speed. That's how we do things here. Okay. The less experience you have, the less can you negotiate, or the fewer pretensions you're entitled to. A second, so I can. Sorry. So I can turn on the lights. So the more of a beginner you are, the more you should be willing to take their stupid tests. I hate tests. I really hate interview tests. Um, but yeah, they kind of make sense, right? If there are a lot of people that are applying to a job, you need tests to triage them, and there's no other way. I just prefer to see projects that people worked on. That's it. And that's proof, right? That's um yeah, that's the ultimate proof that they will be able to work on what I have on my projects. Yeah, you can be picky after 2 or 3 years of experience, and you can push your project more. There, like you can say like, hey, look at my projects. I would like to maybe not take this test or whatever. Or yeah, yeah. I mean, if after 2 or 3 years, let's say, or 4 years of experience, you not only, I mean, a company can say that, man, you worked on nice projects and you're exactly what we need, but you need to take the test, then that's fine. But if they completely disregard your projects, like they don't even care, that's a huge red flag. Just run. Like, it means they are completely stupid. Like, it's stupid. You won't really have this experience, like maybe 1 in 10 companies just completely disregard their projects, but maybe there's more of them. I don't know. But it's just a lack of intelligence to disregard someone's projects. I mean, it's the most, the closest thing to a proof they have for their skills. So why won't you just take a look at them? Because people sometimes are nervous during a test, so they might just completely mess up the test, but maybe they're still good for the position. So that's why it's not the top reason, but it's one of the reasons tests are not ideal, or at least they're not. They shouldn't be the only most important thing. Like, projects should be one of the most important things they look at. We'll call you later doesn't mean you're rejected. This thing is quite, I mean, it's not that important, but it's really maybe, I mean, out of 10 people, if this slide helps at least one of you, maybe I guess I did my job. I just wanted to make it clear, like, this thing doesn't mean you're rejected. This is a meme mostly, right? Um, it really means that, like, they will call you later, right? And I don't know what I did. What did I do? F. Full screen, zoom. Okay, I did something. Anyway, let's keep it like this. Okay, good. Um, Yeah, the interview. How I dress for my job, how the interviewer dresses. Happens often. So try to not take them too seriously and focus on the raw value that you bring. So not on the details. Like try to not over prepare visually or just over prepare the details just to make up for the lack in the value, because you will on just on the higher level view you'll just be wasting time, because you would do this for all of your interviews and you would just be wasting a lot of time. And if the raw value isn't there, just don't do interviews. I mean, maybe do them like casually, like maybe like fishing. You're throwing the net and just you catch a big fish, but uh focus on the raw value, and your raw value are your projects. Again, projects, work on projects. And I know people who just don't want to work on projects and they want to just apply and get the job, and it's I don't understand it. Like it's like you don't like money or what? Like you don't you want to make a lot of money? I mean, uh, create some projects, and instead of 40K, you can ask for 55K monthly, not monthly, yearly salary as a complete absolute beginner, right? Let's say. Um, yeah. So if you're strong, I mean the wording, yeah, but if you have, like, if you strongly believe that your projects are uh impressive, or at least impressive compared to maybe your peers, or impressive in the sense that, well, you never worked or just did an internship or something like that, summer school, and they are impressive enough for somebody of your experience, then you are already strong. You have a strong position, and you shouldn't feel any nervousness, or like you should be confident by default. And people, it's kind of a natural thing, right? If you're standing on a solid foundation, you're confident without even thinking about it. So you shouldn't be nervous or stressed out or feel like you're an imposter or whatever, right? So you have living proof that you've worked on something that works, right? Um, yeah. So HR sometimes can't evaluate you properly. So, and it actually happens very often, and it's sad. And rejections are often just their recruiting process, which is bad. It's just they have automated processes which reject your resume because you don't have maybe some keywords that they want there. But if they would see you, they would accept you, basically. Um, so try to not get it too personal. Like, try to not see rejections as uh, as just hits or something that should be painful, right? It's yeah, I mean, most of the time they just cannot see what you can do to their projects. I mean, of course, if you apply to a very high-end job, or I mean a job that requires 5 years of experience, and you don't have that, I mean, of course you'll most probably get rejected. So it's, I mean, I'm not talking about those cases. um yeah. And again, sadly, there are a lot of job postings which are fake, because people are posting just to get statistics, just to research. And I don't know how many, but maybe even 30% at least, probably, depending on the platform, are fake. In the sense that the company is real and everything, but they are not hiring, or they just want to tell other employees like, hey, see how many people are applying, so just we can fire you at any time. I mean, they are not saying that, but they are kind of implying it in some ways, or they just want to appear to the regulators or the government, like there are some rules for I'm not an expert on that, but it's kind of it looks good when a company has job openings, right? Because they are searching for candidates, even though they are not accepting, right? They are not accepting anyone, but it looks good to for the company to have job openings. So if you factor all of that in, you would basically 70% of your rejections are kind of, they don't even count because it's impossible to get there. Even yeah, it's impossible to get there regardless of how much experience you have. So just throw that away, right? um yeah, and just try to not overthink why you were ghosted. So it's this is everything that I could come up with, because it's if you're a complete beginner and applying, and maybe you're getting demotivated demotivated, right? um yeah, and this thing also happens sometimes. You might be overqualified for the job, so even as a complete beginner, although it's a bit rare, but for example, maybe they had already have uh, they already had people like you, and they saw them like they're leaving after 6 months because they saw a better opportunity, and they want to prevent that. They would like you to stay at least maybe a year, so they just reject you immediately. They preemptively um reject you to avoid that, right? So they are really good. I mean, in theory, HR people, that's their job, to spot patterns and spot good candidates and so on. But usually they are not technical, so they are only like focusing on the mm, more human part, or more on the soft skills part, or more on the emotional psychological part, where they will probably already take a read of you, and they already knew that, okay, a guy like this already came here last year, and they only, after 5 months or something, they just didn't like it here. Like they were too, I don't know, they wanted a maybe a better organization, a better structure of teams and project. Like they wanted something of higher quality, and yeah, we just want someone that we won't have the same pretensions, and of course they won't tell you this. They will just say that, sorry, but we decided that there's uh, a better match for this job. And when you see that email, you instantly think that, okay, there was someone better than me, but actually it was someone who was better for that posting, right? I mean, you can even think about this. I mean, the more years of experience you have, the higher the percentage of jobs that reject you because of this. So you can increase that like to like 5% if you have like 3 years of experience. Then if you have like 8 years of experience, this thing might be like even at 20%, and it rises. So also factor this in. Yeah, and let's do an interview simulation. Could you demonstrate us your skills? uh Let me drink some more energizer. Although, I mean, this hour, this moment in the day, I don't have that much energy. And of course, water is the best energizer. That's also healthy. Um, but this works more at around 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Works for me. Like I immediately see a boost in energy then. Um, from water. But yeah, anyway, let's do an interview simulation. So, what do you know about our company? And you might answer, not much really, I just want to gain some experience. Goodbye. This is their answer. AA means answer to an answer. Just you might answer, I didn't have much time to look it up, but I know you've done a multiplayer game X and it's popular on iOS, Android, and this other game Y, and that you generally focus on genre A, B, C. And yeah, they would say, yeah, that's us. Or you might say, I know that you're you yeah, you're founded about 10 years ago, had significant success with X and Y. I am impressed by your approach to multiplayer and your focus on the community part. Yep. So it's like this is the if it's not obvious, like these last two answers are good ones. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit. You might not want to do this, or it sounds a bit artificial, but they really appreciate the effort. They know that you've looked it up, most probably, especially if the company is not really popular. But they still appreciate the effort. I mean, it doesn't even matter for them if you already knew the company or if you looked it up while you applied it. It's like no difference, almost no difference, right? Um, yeah, know their major titles if they have any, the genres they specialize in, any recent news or achievements. Like these are optional. Maybe the recent news, but like if they released a very big game or opened a new office somewhere in the last month and you just knew that news that it's very it's pretty important. I know these things might it's more important to provide the raw value in your projects and everything, right? But these things might get you from an 8 to a 9 or from a 7 to an 8 or from a 4 to a 5, and maybe 5 is the minimum for you to like get into the company. It just amplifies your raw value. It doesn't create raw value. Notice that I do you get the distinction? So it just amplifies what you already have. They don't add to what you already have. Although sometimes they also add, like in companies where they, let's say, they just want to feel proud, and for some reason that increases your chances for getting in. Why should I hire you? And you might answer, this seemed like a good opportunity for me. Goodbye. And of course, I'm exaggerating, right? Like, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but only by exaggerating to the left or to the right or upwards or downwards or front and back in all axes. That's how you can understand an idea. Or you might answer, I think specific skill and specific experience, like experience related to that skill in that project or company, make me a strong candidate. I am passionate about game dev, and I'm excited to work in a team. Maybe you never worked in a team, or you worked in a smaller team, and now you're excited to work in a bigger team. Maybe for the first time. Yeah, if you want to say that as well. Like, I think that you can just say my C# skills or my programmatic animation skills, which is more specific things to say, and my 5 months project or my 1 month tower defense project make me a strong candidate. especially someone who's just getting the first job, because probably most people just come with their degree and they are throwing their degree and that's it. But I put the work, and see, I don't even have a degree. Like I don't know. I maybe I didn't go to college. Didn't like I only have my projects. I worked really hard to compensate for my lack of degree. Maybe you can say that, and they will really like that, right? So again, I won't be able to cover all of the cases here, but in the tree of possibilities, I'm trying to go on the most useful path, or one of the most useful paths, and this will still be useful for you, I think. Actually, this I think is the most important slide. And I should have put like a degree here to what I actually verbally said. Um, yeah, you can say that as well. Like, um, yeah, just uh, seek backwards in the video, in the recording, and hear me about this. Hear me talk about this slide. Salary expectations. You might answer, I don't really know, but I expect a fair compensation. And this guy notes down, just give them the minimum, right? And they might say, okay, right? Thanks. Uh, or you might say, my research for these job requirements that you have shows the range of specific range, like between, let's say, 40 and 60, whatever. I'm open to discussing this further based on the role and responsibilities, like including hours per week. Maybe you need 20 hours per week, not 40, or maybe you need 50 or whatever, or 10, or depends on the project. And other forms of payment, like gym cards, or other stuff like vacations, or like I said a few, like half an hour ago or something, I mentioned, like maybe they have other perks that you already want, right? And yeah, thanks. What are you willing to do in addition to your main role? Um, you might answer, I expect most of my attribution to relate to this role, but I understand that in some rare cases the project would require us to work even outside our... Interesting. I think I just forgot to do this slide. So, because first is the bad one, and then is the good one. Um, what are you willing to do in addition to your main role? I'm only interested in doing what's in my job description. I'm not a meetings guy, and I want to be left alone. Kind of an exaggeration, right? But you get the idea. Goodbye. Or you might answer, I expect most of my responsibilities to relate to this role, but I know that occasionally adjacent stuff is needed. I'm willing to help. Maybe I'll even learn something new and useful for myself. And this is the keyword, occasionally. And usually you should want this, but you should know that you should like do it occasionally. And sometimes it might be stuff for which, like maybe where you don't learn anything, maybe it's just some mechanistic stuff, repetitive stuff that you might not like, right? But I don't know, maybe 2%, 5% of the time, it's kind of all right to do it, right? Because this is not like a theoretical world. This is a real world where everything is chaotic, right? I mean, yeah, 5% of your time, maybe 10% of your time, I don't know, you might need to do some things that you don't like. Um, and you would need to do those things anyway. Like if you would work as an indie, like maybe you do like as an indie, 60% of your time would be probably not programming. Yeah. Let me just delete this since I'm here. Are you willing to work overtime when needed? You might answer, no, I prefer to stick to my regular hours strictly. Goodbye. Are you willing to work overtime when you need? Yeah. So you might answer, yes, I'm always available, even unpaid if it's just 3 or 4 hours per week. And the guy says, nice. So it's not a rejection, right? Why would they reject you? But they note down, guys, we can test more in production now. This fellow has us uncovered. So remember yesterday we talked about testing in production and overtime and sleepless nights. Maybe this recruiter just or technical recruiter probably, or just maybe the last guy, the last step in the recruiting process says that, oh, somebody is willing to work overtime more than us, so we can test more in production. It's safe. Or you might answer the third answer. Yes, if fairly paid, and as long as it's the exception, not the rule. Fair point. And this is like this is the correct answer, or this is the correct attitude about the correct answer, of course, because words are just words, right? This is the correct attitude. So, and it's a trick in many conversations to use this word fair, because fair sounds fair, right? It's fair. So if fairly paid means anything, right? And usually, I mean, usually most of the time you say fair, they say fair, but you're thinking about something more advantageous for you, and they are thinking about something more advantageous for them. But you're agreeing about the word, even though you're not agreeing actually. But you kind of set a contract here in the sense, like, okay, it has to be fairly paid, and they might say, okay, after 1 month or whatever, like, we think fair is 50, but you think fair is 70, and then you might just say, okay, maybe 60, and that's your overtime hourly rate. I don't know, just an example. Uh, but it's good to mention it, right? If fairly paid, and of course you would need to actually ask about, okay, what's the hourly rate or whatever for overtime, and you will see it in the contract and so on. Are you understanding that sometimes it's not possible for us to pay overtime work? They might ask you this. I just invented this question. I just made it up. I never heard it, but it might prepare you for some similar attitudes, because mostly you should think of the attitudes behind the questions and the answers here, not about the questions themselves. So how do you respond to this attitude with this and so on, right? So just think about the attitudes, right? Because there are an infinite number of questions that are like this. Yes, a few hours per week, I guess it's fine. Others are also doing it, right? And they will answer yes, and they probably would lie, or they would probably not let you know that this is not fair, and it is unfair. Like, you should be paid for all of your work, and you might feel like you're doing overtime in some weeks, but maybe you are, I don't know, maybe you're like coming late 2 hours each day, every day, and it's like it adds up to maybe 10 hours per week that you're not working, and then you're working 3 hours overtime, but like if you add those up, you're still like 7 hours in minus that you're not working, and then it's their right, right, to just. I mean, it's not that like their right, but it's kind of an unwritten rule. Like you shouldn't you shouldn't whine about, right, have 3 hours of overtime if you have 10 hours that you didn't work on that week, right? That's, I mean, we should be fair here. They are right in that case, right? But if in this hypothetical example where when that's not implied, it means that it's implied that you're working your 40 hours or whatever, and usually you shouldn't work that much. Like 40 hours is already too much. So at least like in the IT industry, I mean, there are people like have um I don't know how it's called, but on Friday some companies even like let their employees like they only work like 4 hours or 6 hours or whatever, right? So just don't try to be that strict. um but yeah, so assuming that you're working, just you're doing your job, like you shouldn't actually uh be okay with not being paid for your overtime work. And again, there are people who already know this and think that I don't know, exaggerating by talking about this, but I assure you there are people who work a lot overtime, and I might even argue that most of the people work overtime more than they should have, and some of them don't even get paid for it. And there's also a subset of those people who don't have anything else to do, and they somehow like fill some voids with that work, and they are working usually for free, but and their managers, some of them know about that, and it's kind of a bit ambiguous. Like, okay, should we pay them or not? But you should ask for that work. I mean, if you're being forced into overtime, you should talk about that with your supervisor or your supervisor's supervisor, and just see how you can be paid for that work, right? And yeah, it really depends on. If this is the only company in your country, maybe it's quite impossible to do that. And if, for example, you cannot get a remote job for some reason, then of course, then it's more complicated, right? But I'm talking about the general case. So this is the first answer. And you might also answer, have a nice day, sir. And you just stand up and get out of there. And this should actually be done in this simulation in order to pass it. Yeah, actually, this interview simulation is in the real, like in the in-person version of this course. This is a simulation, a real simulation, which you have to pass. And yeah, that's why I mentioned this here. So it doesn't matter what they say. So yeah, are you understanding that sometimes it's not possible for us to pay overtime work? And you just leave at that point, because it's about the attitude, right? Because it's understandable that there will be at some points where, okay, you might need to stay like 1 hour or 2 hours once a few weeks. Maybe there's an issue and you have to stay a bit. But them mentioning it, it means that there's something more than that you have to do at times, right? And that's not good. It's a red flag. And of course, this is just taken into in isolation. Like if they've asked you 7 things before this one and they all were perfect and you like them, and this is the only red flag, then just do your own judgment. Probably it's not that it's not that bad. Describe a challenging project you worked on and how you overcame the challenges. You might answer, I haven't really faced any challenges in my previous jobs. Goodbye. Or you might answer, Project X had a significant tech issue with specific challenge. So, what issue you had there? I identified the root cause, why, and implemented specific solution, which resulted in positive income. The positive income should be a quantifiable. I mean, it doesn't need to be, but usually you remember from yesterday, recruiters or interviewers in this case, and people in general like quantities and quantifiable amounts and quantifiable achievements instead of saying I make a lot of money. You can say I make 200 grand, and that's a lot more. It's better, right? It's better. So you might say like, okay, the tower defense project that I've created in 1 month had this problem um where the boss the boss yeah the boss on this specific level was not the animation was not that smooth, and yeah, I just didn't know much about the animation stuff, and I've learned the Unity Animator in that case, and I really liked it because I didn't even know that I can use an Unity Animator for it. I was using just code, and this is actually a real thing that happened to me during this course when I was live coding last week, the Duck Invaders, where I didn't even know that I can use the animator to animate the boss, and it's amazing. Like I really liked it. Um, and you see, like you already want to hire me when I'm saying this, because you're seeing it's really hard to fake it, right? When it's real. And yeah, I identified the fact that I was doing it the wrong way. Like I was trying to use a hammer for, I don't know, something that didn't require a hammer. And I just learned Unity Animator, and then I just from that moment onwards, now I just created more and more levels, and yeah, it's my animations are amazing. Even though I'm not an animator and don't want to really be an animator, but just animating the position and rotation and triggering some events on specific moments of the animation already like added 30% more value to my game. And this is the positive outcome, like 30%. It's still subjective, but right. And they will say, nice, probably. How do you stay updated with the latest trends and tech in game dev? You might answer, I don't really follow the trends. I just focus on my work. Goodbye. Uh, or you might say, I browse subreddits XYZ, which by the way, it's an amazing thing to do, or I mean, very useful thing to do. And it's kind of, it's even addictive in a way, or at least it sparks your interest when you go there and you get used to read about stuff there. You will like it, and you'll just see new stuff, and news and all that, and you'll engage, and you'll want to ask some questions yourself and so on. And again with discords as well, and the Unity forums or YouTube dev creators, where you just of course you don't interact that much, you just watch them. Yeah, just these things. But we've already discussed, we talked about that. So I browse subreddits XYZ. I occasionally experiment with new tools and techniques in my personal projects. I mean, this is credible, right? So I am doing that occasionally because I mean, I like to try new stuff. So yeah, I'm trying them into in my own projects. Nice, they would say. How do you handle tight deadlines and pressure? You might answer, I usually get stressed out and it affects my work quality. Goodbye. They already kind of know this because it makes sense that the stress um, inhibits creativity and focus, and it's normal, right? But like you pointing that out makes it worse, so it makes you look worse, and it's one of those soft skills things where we all know it's true, but when you say it, it's bad. It makes it worse, right? Or maybe the reason for why you're saying it is because for you it's worse than for other people, right? And I mean, I'm not saying like you should lie to your interviewer, but you should also like take this as a small red flag in the sense that you should follow up with questions like, okay, how often do you have tight deadlines and pressure? Like if it's every day, like I don't really recommend to go to those jobs. Like there are a lot of jobs where the requirements are pressure, 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 and deadlines, tight deadlines, and I mean you're just aging prematurely, prematurely, right? Because of those things, just it's not worth it, and just don't go there. Just stand up and leave. But there are also people which like these things. And I mean, you probably already know what you should do. So this is not really something that applies to you. You probably already know everything. I don't know. You think that you know it all or something. I don't know. And yeah, just good luck. Like if you like to have this pressure and deadlines, and because it's quite kind of challenging, and kind of maybe you like challenges and you like pressure and all of that, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that for me, and I think for most people, I don't recommend a job where they right from the start are mentioning that there's always the tight deadlines and pressure. I think the most balanced job would say that there's occasional tight deadlines, or there's also tight deadlines, but there's occasional pressure. I mean, if they don't even say it in the job description, it means that, or I meant to say that if they're mentioning it in the job description, then it means that in the real life it's even worse, right? Or maybe they just want to prepare you or over prepare you for that, even though maybe in reality it's pretty relaxed. So you have to take that into account as well. um I mean, we can talk about it the whole day, right? We don't know exactly what's in their mind, or you just have to go in and see what it is, but try to squeeze an answer out of them here, like to understand how often do these things happen, right? Yeah, or you might answer. So you answer, I usually get stressed out and whatever, but you might also answer, I prefer constant stress and deadlines to be the exception, not the rule. And you know, this it's kind of a theme in all of my interview simulation, where when they present you with something that's negative for you, you might say that I'd prefer that to be the exception, not the rule, right? I also sync with the team to ensure we're aligned. And during crunch times like this, I bump up the healthy stuff. So exercise, meditation, and it's kind of it helps to say that, but it also helps to also execute it. So this is kind of an advice disguised as an answer to interview simulation of, I mean, if there's a stressful uh period of the projects, or yeah, and you're under a lot of pressure, exercise is like the most healing medication you can take. um and the meditation, which is on the second place, and of course sleep. But I'm assuming you sleep, and you there's this thing, I think it still holds. If I think it's true, last time I checked, I mean, not last, like but I read about it that you have to sleep between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., or at least to be sleeping in that interval, and of course 8 hours in total. But in that interval, the factory, your brain is a big factory, and it cleans itself and it sorts out memories and all that during that time. So that's another thing, tangents there. But yeah, during pressure times, exercise, and you can, I mean, weightlifting as well. It might be even better, where you basically feel some physical pain. Um, I mean, I might go into a tangent here. I think there are some people who like physical pain, but I think what they really are missing, they are just missing weightlifting, because they are kind of trying to they're trying to replace lifting with just plain pain, which is might be just good for stress relief, but lifting is even healthier for you. Uh, yeah, that's your completely unrelated tangent to this course. Um, yeah, and this is it for today. I hope this helps you, and I hope this will help your friends or your colleagues or anyone from the future. Actually, everything in this session is quite timeless, because it tries to, I mean, it describes a lot of the psychology behind the recruiting process, or working, uh, the work life, the professional life, and of course applied to a dev's life, whether as a freelancer, as an indie dev, or as a regular worker. And yeah, I hope this helped you guys. If you have any questions, you can write them, or you can write in Discord. I see you guys aren't that active on Discord, but yeah, I'll be active there. So in the sense that I will still be there if you decide to be active later. Um, yeah, I'll be able to help with any questions and stuff. At least for the foreseeable future. We'll see. And tomorrow, I don't know. We'll see what we have tomorrow. But you can check week 1, day 1, and then you will have the summary for tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, talk to you tomorrow, and have a nice day or evening. See you.